So I realized that I could make a difference, because if it was happening to me this way, then it was obviously happening to other women, particularly Black women. And that was a real pivotal moment for me, a changing point in my time here, because within the year this happened, and I knew I have to go back to who I am and what I can do in order to not only empower myself, but to empower other women. Building from there, I opened back up to seeing patients, began to build the foundation for what I'm doing now. And as over these past 25 years, I've got to a point where I know exactly what I need to do. Can't wait to see his face. He's going to be so cute. Women in this country have very little opportunity to speak and be heard. I can see how the way I practice, the way I do my work already, opens up an opportunity where there may not have been one afforded before, for women to express themselves, to share what's on their heart, and to talk and to be heard. Creating space, creating safety around that time when we're in interaction on a health issue is more important than just that specific health issue. And it helps us both to share in a way that's authentic and is open, honest, and is meaningful, because usually what happens after that sharing is the woman becomes empowered to do something, one little thing, or many things, but it's certainly the beginning of a new way of thinking and a new way of being around her health and her empowerment.
Well, with this pregnancy, I started out feeling confident and that I was more informed because I've already had the different experiences before, so I felt like I knew what I wanted. And even with that, it's been very frustrating because it's just been roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I was referred to a high-risk clinic where at first it was okay because they were actually very lenient on me wanting to deliver vaginally. You know, they were on board with it. I spoke to the head physician, and he was fine. He was like, it's fine for you to do that. We just recommend that you do it at the hospital. But I started going over there, and it really felt like I was just a chart. I don't know who anybody is. Nobody knows who I am. They just read, the sheet on my chart real quick before they come in the room. There's no follow-ups. It just felt like I wasn't getting any attention at all. I was left in the dark. There was no information being given. I wasn't getting any answers, even medications that were prescribed to me that I had bad reactions to. Nobody was held accountable for anything. I really didn't feel safe at all. Every time I went for an appointment, it felt like I was being treated like a medical condition. It feels, you feel helpless, very helpless. And even me, I do my research outside and I come prepared with questions, but when you do, you get like a kind of a pushback from the doctors. Like if you're somebody that's asking questions and that wants to, that's inquisitive and wants to know what's going on, they expect you just to move in and out. They'll just check you, do what they have to do. They don't tell you what they're doing, how you're measuring, anything. They measured my, to see the size of the baby, and I had no idea until I came here that I was actually measuring a little smaller than I should be. So I didn't know. There's no feedback, and if you ask, there's automatically you feel like a wall coming down, and they get defensive. They don't want to explain. You feel helpless, and you don't feel safe. These cases happen across the board to every race, but it's pretty clear that it's a lot more frequent and prevalent amongst women of color to have to struggle like this. It's a bit disheartening because that's something that you can't necessarily control. And, I've experienced, being that feeling of not being able to go to certain providers because of my social class, which has a lot to do with me being a woman of color. Well, I think, at this point, the American dream is pretty much a myth. I've seen so much hypocrisy and double standards that, you know, it's just in so many different facets of life. Like, it really is something like just completely systemic, that we're just held back from so much knowledge, and there's so many things that lower classes, and lower classes being comprised of mainly people of color, that we're just never taught, you know, are things that are passed down, like knowledge is passed down like as a family legacy pretty much, and we just don't get access to that.
The joy of it is my first time. I'm very excited. I can't wait till he comes. I'm very excited about that because, you know, like you said, most people never had their first time. They never do it natural. So when I got pregnant, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna have it natural. All the pain that I've been through in my life, I don't think this is gonna be any worse. I wanted a natural birth because, like I said, all the pain that I've been through in my life, I feel like, you know, just taking this time out and they actually experiencing back in the old days how they used to do it. So I want to take my time out and just, you know, take that time to actually go through a pregnancy without the epidural, without nothing. Just, I feel like that'll bring me closer to my baby.